Are we on? Yeah, we're on. All right. Okay, so welcome to my Saturday afternoon live chat, and I'm a half hour late today, so until people start showing up to watch, I'm just gonna ramble. If you're watching this after the fact, normally I start at 2 p.m. Eastern, but I was just on a Zoom baby shower for my stepbrother and his fiance. So I figured everyone would understand. Like, family is always the most important. And my stepbrother, this is his first child. He's a couple years younger than me, and he wasn't sure if he was going to become a parent or not. He was just waiting, like living life and seeing if the right situation came along, and it did. And his fiance is very sweet. She's actually got 2 teenagers, so it's very exciting. So anyway, so sorry about that. I didn't know how long it was going to be, and I didn't want to rush it because obviously family comes first. So, and then while I was doing that, since it was over Zoom, and I have very poor planning skills, I hadn't sent their gift yet. It's actually all of this right here. Oh well. I don't think they'll care. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing during this live, and whoever's here, say hi in the chat so I can say hi back to you. And then while that's happening, I'll show you what I'm doing right here. But I'll wait like a minute or two. Right now I'm just making some binding. This is just like a cross grain binding. It's not on the bias because it's going over a straight edge, so it doesn't need to be on the bias. So this is something that's somewhat new to me. I had always been afraid of bindings before. I don't know why. I think it's probably why a lot of people are afraid of zippers, because they just assume, oh, that looks hard. That's probably going to be difficult for me, and I might not do well. But you just got to try it. So that's what I've been doing, and so far I've made a whole bunch of projects with bindings on them, and it's been going just fine. So yeah. So here's one. And then I'll end up holding this up a few times. Hey, everybody. This is what I am making. Let me grab the pattern. So here's the cover of it. This is called the Booklet Pouch by Anila Hoey. I think I'm saying her name correctly. I haven't ever heard it. I've only seen it written, so hopefully I pronounced it correctly. But the pattern name's pretty self-explanatory. It's a little booklet. I made this last weekend. It's got a separating zipper on the front edge. So then when you open it up, it's a booklet. I feel like I'm reading to a kindergarten class, except you can see there's nothing really to read in here. So I decided to put my cross-stitch supplies in this. Oh, hey, Julie. Glad to see you back. So on this page, I've got all my needles and scissors and marking tools. And then I've got my floss in here. I used to cross-stitch a long time ago, and then I gave it up when I started doing machine embroidery. So I'm getting back into it. So that's why I've got a real modest collection. And then this is a Golden Girls cross-stitch project that I started several years ago, and I'm surprised I still have it, but now I'm going to finish it. And then here is the pattern for it. So if anyone's a Golden Girls fan, it's tinymodernist.com. And I bought this a few years ago, so hopefully they're still around. That's what I'm working on. But yeah, so you can see it's got, 4 pages, and they each have a little zipper. So it's on one side it's clear vinyl, and on the back it's just regular quilting cotton. Oops. It's hard to maneuver. But you can see it's just basically it's like 4 little zipper bags. And then the way it's constructed, you can see. Hi, Evelyn. Thanks for joining. You just make a stitch. Is there just one? Oh, this page has a couple, I think this one has 2 stitches, and this middle page just has 1 stitch down the center. I didn't make the actual pattern, but I made this. This is the pattern. It's Booklet Pouch by Anila Hoey. And I believe she has her own website, but I purchased this. It comes in a paper version, but I wanted the pattern right away, so I got it last week as a PDF. So then it was an instant download. I got mine from fatquartershop.com because, again, I was looking for it where I could get it right away, because I don't know if you ever have one of those moments where you wake up one morning, you're like, I want to make, whatever. So I had seen this pattern before, Rock Baby Scissors on Instagram, and she has an Etsy shop too, but I follow her on Instagram, and she had been posting these all the time. Like, she makes tons of them. And I'm like, that kind of looks like a fun thing to make. It's unlike anything I'd ever made before. So yeah, just one morning, I'm like, I'm going to buy that pattern and I'm going to make one. And then I use more of this, here, let me grab it again. This is the Allison Glass Art Theory fabric that I used. I love, love, love this fabric. You can kind of see, sort of, this is half of a panel. So here's the edge of it, and then I just cut the panel in half, and then the other half is on the inside. So that's what I used to make it with, and then there was it 2, I think? Yeah, 2. There's 2 coordinating prints, these 2 that I used. So that's what I did for this, and yeah, I absolutely love this. It's perfect for cross stitch. And then I think people who do is it English paper piecing or something like that hand quilting or hand applique. I don't know a whole lot about that, but I think people use these little bags to store that sort of thing in. But yeah, awesome pattern, very well done. It's easier than it looks, so I'll highly recommend. And that's actually what I'm doing. I already have 2 more of them cut out, so I think you can see okay. So let me try to hold this up without burning myself in the iron, but I have one here. There's 2 sizes. That's the large, and then this is going to be the small. This is there's some math fabrics with a bit of orange Allison Glass fabric. This is a small. I'm going to be making this hopefully today as well. That is for my daughter's math teacher. She's my daughter struggles with math quite a lot, and her teacher has been tutoring her after school, which, I mean, I'm not a math teacher, but I don't think that that's something that is an expectation for them to do. And even if it was, I would appreciate it, all the same. So I just wanted to make her a little gift just to show my appreciation for helping my daughter out, because math just makes her upset, as it does for me too. I was hoping that she would not struggle with it like I have, but she does, and it's this teacher's been very, very helpful to her. So that's what I'm making in the small size, and then this is another large size that I'm working on right now. And then it's a little toasty. And I'm gonna repeat myself a little bit because I got people coming and going and stuff like that. Some cute sewing. I have some cute saying designs. I was looking for projects. That'd be awesome for them. Do you mean like a fabric panel? Let me know. I'm not quite sure what you mean. But yeah, so this is going to be another large size. And if you are just joining us, the reason I was late to the live stream today is because I was attending a baby shower via Zoom for my stepbrother and his fiance, and I just totally had a complete brain fart and forgot to have the gift done and sent to them in time for the shower. So I was actually working on it during the shower because I was just using the same setup here to attend the shower, so you can see everything, and it worked out well. I was participating in everything, and I and then yeah, I'm making one of these as the baby gift, because I was thinking, because my stepbrother and his fiance, they live in Georgia and I'm in Florida. So obviously I only get to see them maybe like once or twice a year. So as a result, I have not gotten to know his fiance very well yet, which makes it gift giving a little more difficult. Granted, I could just buy something off the registry, but you know, when you're a maker, that's just kind of like what you like to do. So I found out that she likes the Carolina Panthers a lot. So I found these two fabrics. I showed these last week in the stream. So yeah, I found these two fabrics, and then I am going to make the large size little booklet pouch for her with this. And then I figured that you could use it for baby stuff, but I know a lot of people like, especially like if they're not like, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. It's like they're like, I think they're like around 40 or something like that. So at this point in their life, they're pretty well established. They own a home and everything. So they don't like need as many like real practical things, you know. Like if it's a real young mom, I'd probably buy them a lot of diapers as gifts and things like that, because you know, you're younger and you don't have as much money and stuff like that. So I figured I would kind of go the non-traditional route and make something that she can use for baby stuff, but she could also use for herself too. So that was my rationale for doing this. And I just really love this pattern. So I wanted to maximize the chances of her liking this. And then I think I'm going to make something additional for my stepbrother as well. Oh, embroidery designs. Oh yeah, I think I know what you mean, Julie. Do you mean like embellishing the cover, or do you do hand embroidery? I think either way is good, because this piece right here, this is pretty sizable area. I think it would be cool, like if you could embroider a design, like maybe use a solid fabric and embroider a design on here. You could even do one on the back if you wanted. So, but yeah, this is great for like sewing and art supplies too. I think this would be like the elusive teenager gift. This might be good. Like if you have a teenager in your life who does art, I think this would be perfect, because they could put all their pens and pencils and their alcohol markers. Those are real popular right now. And then even like you could probably fit a small sketchbook in here. Let me get a ruler and measure this. So it's about 10 inches high, and then I think the pocket goes about to here. So it's like 7 1/4 by 10. Oh yeah, diaper coupons, there you go. Yeah, those suckers are expensive. I do remember that. I haven't had a baby in a long time, but I do remember, oh my gosh, those things were expensive. So yes, this is the large size. So yeah, it's about 7 by 10 for a page. And I think they have like 5 by 8 size sketchbooks. I'll have to ask my daughter. My 16-year-old is an avid artist. So I'm surprised she hasn't asked for one of these yet. But then again, she tends to not ask for things. I guess I should be happy about that. Oh, you know what I thought of too? I should just leave this over here. Yeah. A machine embroidered on the cover would be awesome. I'm thinking maybe you could sew a divider and then put a second zipper pull on here. A lot of the Biani patterns do that. That might be cool too. Like if you wanted it to have, more than one pocket, that would be cool. Or I guess you could just sew it like maybe to the binding, and then you could have the zipper function for both of them just to divide it. Like that might be a cool idea. Maybe I'll do that for this particular pocket so you can see everything's kind of fallen to the bottom. Maybe I'll do a little seam down the center to divide that. All right, now I'm going to put it away. So the one thing is that, yeah, you have to do a lot of bindings for this and pressing, and I think I've seen tools for that, but I'm kind of new to the binding game, so I got to look. But I think there's a tool, I think it's like, you could probably use a bias tape maker, where you just take this and run it through and iron it as it comes out, and then you just fold it all and iron it in one step. Oh yeah, Designs by Juju. Yeah, I used to, I don't do much embroidery anymore, but I remember buying a lot of fonts from them, and they were all very, very good. They stitched out quite nicely, and yeah, they do like to have their sales. So yeah. So I'd love to hear what everyone's working on today, or what you're doing, even if it's not sewing related. If you're just like doing something mundane like cleaning your house, or if anyone has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those if I know the answer. This is kind of my plan for today, is to work on this little booklet bag, and then I am going to see if I can get in contact with the pattern designer, Anila Hoey, and see if she allows people to make YouTube tutorials for her patterns. Because I think that'd be cool. This is such a great pattern, and I know a lot of people like patterns that have videos for them. And I think I mentioned on here before too that she has a really great book on Amazon called Stitched Sewing Organizers, and I am going to be doing like a kind of like a trunk show or show and tell video on that book, because I'm working on making pretty much everything in that book. I've got most of it. I got a bin up there where I've been collecting all the finished projects from the book, so I can just like do a little trunk show. I just really like them. Pauline's quilting roll is a neat binding tool called a sasher. Works great. I feel like I've heard of that before. Let me write this down. All right. Thank you, Sandy. I'm writing this down. Like my mom, she makes like the patchwork quilts with the yarn ties. It's like I guess it's like a non-traditional or less common way of making quilts. And I never really was interested in doing that, so I've really never been interested in quilting in general. But lately, I keep seeing like Tula Pink and Angela Walters and all these like really inspirational, to me at least, people making these real modern quilts. I think that's what the issue was for me, because like a lot of like the more traditional quilts, they don't appeal to me visually. I'm not saying they suck or anything. I mean, they're you can tell like it's a lot of work. Like I've seen them up close. Like it's impressive, but it's just not something that I'm inspired to make. But some of these more modern ones, especially like the Tula Pink ones, and then I know like Free Spirit, their designers put out a lot of cool quilt designs. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll try one. Oh, and she's a YouTube. Thank you, Sandy. And I actually did make a quilt block. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It's going to be in one of these bins here. All right. I think I mentioned this before, but these are just dish pans from the Dollar Tree, and they're fabulous. You don't need to spend a lot on sewing storage unless you really want to. Oh yeah, here it is. I just get the cheapest stuff possible. Oh, you're making a cake and embroidering hoodies for nephews. Oh, that's cool, Evelyn. That sounds like fun. Yeah, here's, I think they're basically or pretty much identical. These are, excuse me, a pattern called, oh, sorry about that. It's called The Kittens by Elizabeth Hartman. And she's another quilt designer that I found inspirational. Obviously, you can see that since I actually made 2 quilt blocks. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet, and I bought the pattern, so I think what I might do is like maybe make like a pillow, because on Elizabeth Hartman's website I saw she has a couple like free projects where you use the purchase pattern to like make something else, and she had one where it was like two blocks side by side, and she went through how to make a pillow with those, which is great because holy cow, quilting is very expensive. Like I thought about it like a year or two ago when I was started adding everything up. Oh boy, wow, if someone ever gifts you a quilt, they really like you. Sandy says Elizabeth Hartman patterns are fantastic. Made the dachshund block. It's adorable. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check that out. I saw there's a tiger one too. And my cousin, who's also having a baby, I think in April as well, they have some tiger stuff in their baby room. I was thinking maybe I could do that, but I'm not sure. I'm going to check with her. Her mom does quilts, and I don't want to like step on any toes or whatever. Or maybe she already has enough quilts because her mom's made her a bunch. I don't know. I'm going to check. But Julie says, I don't have the patience for making a whole quilt. I like smaller projects. Yeah, that's been my concern. So that's why I think I'm probably just going to start out with maybe a pillow, or I was thinking maybe a baby quilt. I have some cotton batting scraps left over that my mom gave me from a quilt that my other cousin, had her make for her. So I bet I have enough of the batting scraps left over. And then that would make it much more affordable. And then I think like a baby size quilt would be not as overwhelming. And then I looked at like the actual quilting part, because I guess I'm learning this now. There's the piecing, which was that part that I did for that block. And then there's the quilting itself, and that's like when you sew on the finished quilt. So I'm sure if any of you quilt, I'm sure I sound like an idiot. I apologize. But anyway, so I've seen like you have a couple options for the quilting. You can either do it yourself, or you can go to like someone with a long arm quilting machine. But holy cow, that's really expensive, and I just can't do that. Sandy says, start small in a quilting project. My first quilt was a king size bedspread. Whoa, very overwhelming and crazy. Yeah, that sounds really stressful. Like, wow. I hope it was at least an enjoyable experience. I'd be so worried the whole time, like, because that had to cost a ton of money. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna screw this up and waste all my money. But yeah, that's ambitious. Wow. I hope it turned out okay. And Julie says, I've seen where people are using quilt blocks for bag making as the outside of fabric. Oh, yeah, I saw that too. The Okra Roots channel, she made the summer sling. Or no. Yeah, I think it's a summer sling bag by Swoon Patterns. That's some alliteration for you. But anyway, and that's a free pattern, by the way, on Swoon's website. But she made it using a quilt block, and I saw that. I thought that was a pretty good idea. Because I can imagine, like, if you made, like, a couple of these blocks and then maybe you're like, I don't want to make a whole quilt. What do I do with this? It's nice to have some other options. Then you're not, like, tied into one thing to do with all these blocks. I kind of want cake now that Evelyn brought it up. Enjoyable, yes, but silly to start the large term. Well, I'm glad it turned out, Sandy. Wow. A lot of times, though, like if we don't know that what we're doing is considered like advanced level, that sometimes I think that could be a good thing, because then you're not as intimidated. So I remember when I first started sewing, I started with garments. And I just went through the pattern catalog and I went through the Vogue patterns. And I found like it was like a corset style top. And I didn't know that that's super advanced and very, very involved. So I just went for it. I'm sure it turned out really poorly. I don't remember. I just know that I finished it and I was very proud and I learned a ton of skills. I learned how to put in eyelets. I learned what boning and grosgrain ribbon were, and it was fun. Making a bag and had to pre-quilt the fabric for the pattern. Maybe interested in quilting. Oh yeah, that's kind of what's made me a little interested in quilting too, Sandy, is the by Annie patterns. She has you quilt the fabric on almost all of her projects. You quilt the fabric before you make it. And I was doing it. I'm like, this isn't that bad, you know. I think I'd like to learn more about this. And then, oh yes, and everyone says Vogue patterns are really difficult, but I mean, some of them are, and they give you a difficulty rating on the back. And the advanced ones are definitely advanced, but they have easy ones, and they weren't any harder than the other, like they call them the big four. It's like Vogue, Butterick, Simplicity, and McCall's. They call those the big four because those are the ones that are available in most of the chain stores. And when I sewed garments, that's pretty much what I sewed with because they were cheap, and so I could afford them. But if any of you are interested in garment sewing, though, I really encourage you to check out the like they call them the indie designers, where a lot of times their patterns are available as PDFs, but also you can get paper patterns too. Like Jalie, I think is how you say it. It's Jalie. For the longest time, I was saying Jalie, and apparently it's Jalie or something like that. But they're a Canadian company. I think it's like a mother and daughter team. Their patterns are excellent, and they come with like all the sizes. So the pattern, I think their patterns are like maybe $12, $15 each, but you get literally every size from like 2T, like toddler, on up to like well into the adult range, like plus size, all kinds of stuff. I don't know how far they go. I haven't looked, but it's anyway, it's just a huge size range. Oh yeah, Crafty Gemini uses a lot of Jalie patterns. That's who clued me into me pronouncing the name wrong. yeah, she does a lot of videos. So yeah, I'd highly recommend looking at her channel because I watched a couple of them, but yeah, she'll do like some video tutorials on their particular patterns. Like there was, I think it was the Nico Raglan tee. So it's like a Raglan style tee. It's the one where the sleeve seam goes like from like here up to the neckline instead of like a set-in sleeve goes right here. She did a YouTube video on that pattern, and that one was great because you just throw some like tissue paper or vellum paper over the actual pattern, and you trace out the size that you need. So she made these shirts for her whole family, like for herself, and then she made them for her husband, and then she has a son and a daughter too. She made them for everybody. So you think about like, yeah, it's like what, like $10 to $20 or whatever they are for her patterns. But if you're gonna make it a bunch of times, then that's actually a really good value. So I think that'd be great too if you're handy like that, you like to sew, and then if you're having like family photos taken, I think that'd be really cool because then you could make some coordinating outfits that people actually would want to be seen in. So I know a lot of people do that for Christmas. Like you can make Christmas PJs, but maybe make them a little more unique, and then you could find fabrics that everyone in the family likes. Or just like regular photos, you could like make some jeans or buy jeans and then just make the shirts. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, really good stuff. And then Jalie has a jeans pattern too that I bought like a decade ago and have not yet made, but I heard awesome things about. There was a blog years ago. I don't know if she still has her blog, but she was called The Selfish Sewist. And she was a very petite woman, and she was saying that due to her size, she had to purchase jeans from the girls department because she was too small for Mrs. or even junior sizes. And you could imagine that one would not be too happy about having to do that if you're an adult. Plus, it really narrows your selection out, or narrows down your selection. So she made them, and like the blog post was hilarious because I remember she replaced the cuss words, like the vowels in the cuss words, with an E. So it was like, holy fecking shit, these jeans are great. But then you just like, you could, and then she had the photos, you could like see the joy that she had, that she could make her own jeans, that, and then no longer had to shop in the children's department. So it was pretty funny. All right, so now I think I'm gonna do some actual sewing. So let me move this. I think I need to lower my monitor a bit because I have the webcam at the top, and that's probably going to make for a better angle. That's too low. All right. Contrary to how it may seem, I've actually been giving a lot of thought to my camera setup because, as you can see, it's not great. And I'm thinking, I mean, you'd probably rather see what I'm working on, but it's also kind of weird just to like have like this floating head. So I'm trying to have it so there's both. Oh, I did it. Hey. So anyway, yeah. So this is what I'm working on. So then for this pattern too, I'm really happy. It uses regular like dress zippers like this. These are, they call them the number 3 zippers. I have a bunch of these. They're just right off camera. I have a pegboard over here with a whole bunch of dress zippers. And I've been using more handbag zippers lately. So I want to use more of these so I don't have a bunch of supplies lying around forever. Because if you've been around here for any length of time, you've probably heard me say that I don't like having a huge stash, which I know is very different from the norm. I think a lot of people have these huge stashes of fabric, and I really don't. I'm just kind of looking over here, and I have those IKEA bookcases, and I've got a couple drawers that have some various fabrics in them. But as far as like my quilting cotton stuff, I could probably fit it all into one cube. So I have just very little. And I do that because just for financial reasons, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money just to have fabric that's just sitting on a shelf. So I tend to, for the most part, buy for specific specific projects, unless it's something that's just really, really awesome, or if it's a fabric I've been looking for a long time, then I'll buy like a yard of it and kind of decide later. So let me get my chair moved here. All right, good. All right, so what I have to do here is I have to actually do some fusing. So I've got this. This is one of the pages for the pattern, and the pages are fused with a woven fusible interfacing. And then on the inside, there is this Peltex. So this gets kind of slid into the outer cover of the booklet at the end. So that's why I just kind of toss that aside because I'm not going to need it until later. So what I need to do is I need to fuse these pieces of woven interfacing to these fabrics. All right. So this is too wide. Okay. So I use, it's called Stayflex from homesew.com. I apologize, I forgot to put the links, or actually I just didn't have time to put the links in the description of the video. But if you go to homesew.com, this interfacing is called Stayflex. It's much wider than like SF101 Shape Flex, and it's cheaper, especially if you buy 15 yards, because that gets you to the free shipping threshold. So I think I bought 17 yards of it last time I placed an order, and that's going to last me a few months. So it's great. So that's what I recommend. I am not a fan of the woven fuse because I am just not a fan of the person who sells it. Um, I'll try to just leave it at that because I don't want to like start some kind of internet war with somebody, but anyway, I have my heat press machine over here, so I apologize. I'm going to be briefly off camera. But this makes it so much easier to fuse interfacing because you can pretty much get it done all in one step. Oh yeah, I've gotten the SF101 in the wider width through Walmart Overstock. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Oh, hi, Lysandra. Good to see you. You might want to try increasing the heat if it's not adhering properly, or maybe try fusing it for a longer period of time. That might also be the issue. Let me just hit this one more time. And I like it just as much. One thing I noticed, this does shrink a little bit more than the SF101, so you have to make sure, I mean, you should probably be spritzing it anyway because that helps it adhere, but make sure you do it. So let me bring this over. But, definitely make sure that you are, you're spritzing with water beforehand, so you can see. I cut it a little too wide, but I can just cut that off, not a big deal. But yeah, I fuse this it's at 325 degrees for 15 seconds. I haven't tried it at lower temperatures or different amounts. I just kind of just went with that and it works, so I stick with it. But yeah, it's adhered. It's definitely on there. So yeah, I like it a lot and I like the price. But yeah, definitely spritz it with water. I've tried to, if it's just a little piece of interfacing, I'll just use my regular iron and not turn on the heat press. But I've tried adhering it without water and it doesn't work very well for me. So yeah, so let me get this other one here. I think I cut this too big because I'm looking for the smaller of the two pieces and it looks like they're all the same size. Well, it's better that than cutting it too short, right? And then I usually use a pressing cloth just to keep the heat press a little cleaner. But I'm trying to minimize the amount of time that I'm doing this because it's probably not the most fascinating thing for you all to see. There we go. This is definitely my first time sewing with Carolina Panthers fabric. I'm not a football person. I've never even been to whatever Carolina they are located in. There we go. All right, so I got my other one. I just got two more pieces. The cover is actually not interfaced. So that I was surprised by. All right. Yeah, if you happen to have a heat press, it is a huge time saver. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say go out and buy one. Oh, North Carolina. Thank you, Lysandra. But if you happen to have a heat press, and if you're making like a lot of bags, it might be worth it. I feel that it is. I just don't want to like tell people how to spend their money because it was like $200, but it has saved me so much time that to me, I think it's worth it. And if I ever want to do heat transfer vinyl, I can do that too. All right, so here's our other one. Actually, come to think of it, I'm not even positive that this is a football team. I think it is. Yeah, they're really nice, especially if you do a lot of fusing of interfacing. And then you have the added bonus of that you can do heat transfer vinyl if you ever like want to whip up a shirt or something. You got the equipment for it then, because you need that pressure to make the heat transfer vinyl cure properly. All right, there we go. And then we grab my clear vinyl. All right. Yeah, I lucked out because I have a separating zipper that matches. So, sorry, I got like something in my eye. And then I had a bunch of these white zippers. I did not have. I'm assuming they probably call this Carolina blue, because I know there's like a team in Tennessee that they have Tennessee orange. I remember this because I used to go to Walmart with my mom many years ago, and there was a lady who worked in the fabric department in Wisconsin. I guess she was from Tennessee, and my mom was buying orange fabric there, and she's like, "It's Tennessee orange," and my mom was just so annoyed. She's like, "No, it's not. You're in Wisconsin." I don't think she said it right to her, but she was just very annoyed. Whatever. Oh, hey, Linda. Hey, another Floridian. Are you also sweating your butt off, or is it just me? It was really cool this morning because it was raining, and then now it's warm. But here are all the bindings for this project. You can see why I did them all at once. Any more you can get heat presses for everything. I use mine just to iron my fabric. Yeah, it's really versatile. Plus, I saw because you need something to cut the heat transfer vinyl, but then I saw on the Stahls TV, it's STAHL Stahls TV YouTube channel, that I guess they can do the cutting for you. Like, you can order the piece off their website. So if you did want to like just make like a couple of shirts, like maybe like I've seen people do it for a family reunion, or like if someone's like doing like one of those run walk things for charity or whatever, they can put a design on a shirt for that or whatever. Oh, you're in Florida too, Sandy? And then Julie's up there in Minnesota. Oh, you poor thing. This is not a great time to be in Minnesota, I wouldn't think. That's where my cousin actually is, the other one who's having a baby. I think she lives in St. Paul. So, yeah. So here's my clear vinyl. I think I talked about this last week. But yeah, you can get this pretty much anywhere. But I got a whole roll of it from Marine Vinyl Fabric. I actually got it on their Etsy shop. I was going to go to their website, but then somehow, like, the things I was ordering, it was cheaper to get them off Etsy, so that's where I got them. But yeah, this is pretty readily available. And then I think this is a 20 gauge. I think. Don't quote me. But it's good that it's not, you don't want it too thin, because otherwise it'll tear. So that's what I got. And then where did I put my pattern? Here we go. I can't remember if I print this out. No, I didn't. I think you've all been here before. You know this trick. These are just these sheet protectors from the office supply section. And then for my PDFs, I print the cover, and then I have them all in a binder, and then it's fun to flip through it. And then on the back, I'm not going to show because it has all the measurements that are part of the pattern, but it has the requirements, all the supplies you need, and then it has the dimensions on cutting, because these are all square, like rectangular pieces. So there's no like actual paper pattern pieces. You just use your cutting mat, ruler, rotary cutter, or I guess you could trace it out with a fabric pen or something like that if you didn't have a rotary cutter. But yeah, it's more accurate this way. I know some people like, why am I going to buy a pattern if it doesn't have pattern pieces? But, you know, That's why. It's more accurate, it's faster, you'll like it better, I promise. Oh, you're an hour from St. Paul. Okay. Wow. That's got to be so cold up there right now. All right. Let me just check right quick. All right. So I got to bind these edges. I am in Palmetto, Florida, not to be confused with Palmetto Bay, which is, I think, over by Miami on the other coast. Palmetto is between St. Petersburg and Sarasota, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour south of Tampa. So we're right on the coast. Like, hypothetically, if I climbed onto my roof, I could see, I think, this is so bad. I think, like, is it Tampa Bay? It's some, I don't know, I could see water. I'm not outdoorsy at all, which, yeah. Like, I moved down here for a job many, many years ago, and that's why I'm here, not for the beach. I'm not a fan. Holiday. Oh, I know where that is, yeah. 3/4 mile from the Gulf. Oh, wow. Do you go to the beach? I think I've been to Holiday maybe once. I've at least heard of it. I've definitely been to Clearwater. I have a friend who lives there. Yeah, the beach gets really crowded. Unless you find a really obscure one. Oh, hi, Maribel. Good to see you. Welcome. But yeah, I don't like the beach. It's too crowded. It's too hot. I don't like sand. I think it's some kind of sensory thing. And you can see how pale I am. My skin does not like sun. I just burn and I peel. I don't get a tan. I don't get any benefit from it. And I'm grossed out by natural bodies of water. To me, it's like a giant fish toilet. So, yeah, I don't belong here. Oh, you're in Ocala. Okay. I don't think I've ever been there. I think I've driven through it on my way up north, but I've definitely heard of Ocala. All right, so I am just stitching on this binding. And then since this is vinyl, and then since this is binding, it's not going to like have a lot of stress. I'm just using a 3 millimeter stitch length because it doesn't need to be really small. Plus, if the stitches are too close together on vinyl, it's just going to perforate it so much that you can just pull it apart. So there you have it. It's very simple. And since my presser foot's going over the cotton fabric, it's not sticking, so I don't need my Teflon foot, but I do have it right here. I am ready for it. So yeah, this is it's really clever how this is made, and like I said, I really hope that I can make a video tutorial on it, because then more people will hopefully get to enjoy the experience of making and then using this bag, because it's awesome. Let's see. Don't mind. All right, Julie says, I don't mind patterns that you just measure and cut. The thing that gets me is squaring up the fabric. Yeah, not sure why, but for some reason I always mess it up. Yeah, I'm not the most careful when it comes to that sort of thing, especially if it's a print. And then if the print is off grain, then I'm like, what do I do? Do I cut on grain or do I cut with the print? And then I usually forget, and then, yeah. But unless I'm sewing it to sell, which doesn't happen often, I try not to sweat it very much, because overall, it's gonna turn out nice, and I'm gonna either enjoy using it or the recipient is gonna enjoy using it, and I'm careful to only give gifts to people who will appreciate the time and effort I spent and that I thought of them. Yeah, I'm trying to think the last time I went to a beach. I don't know. And then my sister, she lives in Illinois, And when they come down here, of course, that's what they want to do is they want to go to the beach. So I'm just like, I'll see you later. We'll catch up at dinner time because like no thanks. Don't want to go to the beach. Sorry. See, to me, this is just so relaxing. I just like it. Everything fits together nicely, and it's just I like watching things come together. Like right now, this doesn't look like anything, but then in a short time, there it is. Oh, that's great, Julie. Yeah, I hope she says yes, and I hope I can get a hold of her in the first place. And then this morning, this morning I was looking at, I forgot how I even found it. I think it was that one newsletter I mentioned last week that, of course, I can't remember the name of right now. So helpful. But there is a plushie designer, and I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong, so I apologize in advance. I'll try to find the correct pronunciation. But Choli Knight, she designs all these really cool plushies. She has an Etsy shop. Oh, hey, Annette. I am working on the booklet pouch by Anila Hoey. This is the pattern. It's available in like a printed version, but then also a PDF download. I got mine on fatquartershop.com. I am so more than happy to show you the finished one. That I'm making my second and third ones today, but here it is. So you can see it's got quilting cotton on the back, and then clear vinyl on the front, and then there's a zipper, and then there's 4 pages, and then there's some Peltex, and then on the cover, and then a separating zipper to close it all up. So yeah, it's very cool. Highly recommend. But yeah, I'm hoping I can make a video tutorial on this pattern, but you always have to ask first because you know you're sharing the instructions, and that's like a copyrighted thing, and plus it's just a courtesy thing. Thank you. But also, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this Choli Knight, she makes all these cool plushie patterns, and I went on her blog, and she had all these links to free patterns. There must have been like 20 of them on there, and I downloaded a bunch. And so I contacted her on Etsy. I'm hoping to hear back asking if I could make video tutorials for those. Because I think plushies are something that would, they're great for gifts, and then also it'd be a good thing to get younger people sewing because plushies are really popular. Like right now, I teach 9th graders, and I have several of them who have stuffed animals. Like they'll bring them in their backpacks and they collect them and everything. So I was really surprised. Even my kids still like their stuffed animals. And actually, one of them was talking, and she was talking with her friends, and I happened to overhear that she thought it'd be cool to make plushies. So I was like, well, that's a good idea. So I decided to contact that designer, and then maybe I could make some nice tutorials for plushies. I have fabric just sitting back there, like minky and fleece and stuff. And that'll be great because I want to get rid of it anyway. Because if anything's been sitting in my stash for like 2 years or more, I'm just itching to get rid of it to make room for something new. All right. So I'm just putting these on here. Evelyn's got to let us know how her cake is going. I used to bake a lot too, but my mom is she's like a baking master. No formal training whatsoever. She just learned from her mom and her grandma. And of course, she always, in her younger years, always thought, oh, whatever, I'm not that great at this or whatever. Just not very confident. But over the last several years, she started up like a little cottage business, and just part-time, just occasionally she'll like sell cake or a bunch of cookies to, or even like a pot of gumbo or whatever to people. So like people pay for her stuff, and now she's finally accepting the fact that yes, you are really talented at this. So my mom is very, very modest, very humble. So we've all been collectively encouraging her along the way, and like every Mother's Day, Christmas, birthday, for the most part, I'm like buying her like more stuff for her kitchen. Like several years ago, like I gradually like replaced all her like cheapy utensils and stuff like that with like really nice ones and everything, and so now she's really into it. And then I convinced her to sell at there's this market. It's in Sarasota, Florida. I think it's the second weekend of December every year, except for this past year. It's called Atomic Holiday Bazaar, and I have been vending there every year for the last few years, and I finally convinced my mom to do it. And now that's her favorite thing every year. She was so bummed this past year because it got canceled because of COVID. But she just all year round, she just looks forward to selling at Atomic, and she is so busy. Like she'll have like a line of people wanting to buy her cookies. It's just so cool. I'm like, I told you, Mom, like you're talented. And she's like, oh, I don't know. All right. Oh, Evelyn's cake's in the oven. Yeah, yeah, it's funny because I polled my students. I've mentioned this on that channel before because we use Google Classroom to post our assignments, and I was trying to see how many of my students are actually reading the directions. Spoiler alert, not many, but unfortunately that extends to a lot of adults too. So I started putting a question at the end that was totally unrelated, and one of them was, oh, what kind of class do you wish was offered at our school? And like I didn't suggest anything. I didn't even mention the question in class at all. I just put it there. And like I would say like probably half of them said cooking and or baking. Like so many of these kids want to learn how to cook. And I think there might be there might just be a lot of them where neither of their parents cook either, so they don't have anyone to learn it from. So I think that might be what's going on. I mean, there are a lot of YouTube videos and everything, but there's something to be said for like taking a class in school and, you know, trying stuff out and getting immediate feedback and everything. And I think maybe some people or some teenagers like their parents may not be too enthusiastic about them making a mess in the kitchen, trying to learn, which is understandable. Julie says her daughter grounded her from buying your grandson any more stuffed animals. That's funny. Yeah, my kids' grandparents, they were also very generous with the stuffed animals. My oldest she's been talking about wanting to make plushies, but then she hasn't, so she might have lost interest. But oh, Lysandra says, my sister started doing Zoom cooking lessons with her grandkids and they love it. That is such a cool idea. That's great. I love that. Because like not only is she teaching them a really useful skill, but like that's something that they're going to remember forever. I love that. So it's like a great memory that they're going to have for, you know, like when they're older, they think like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, my grandma taught us how to cook over Zoom, and yeah, that's just wonderful. I think like having memories like that you're creating is just as important as the skill that's being taught. That is really cool. Yeah, for a while my mom was talking about, oh, maybe I'll do a cooking channel on YouTube, and we're all like, yes, please. Because not only is my mom really good at cooking, she's really entertaining, like sometimes unintentionally. I've mentioned this on the channel before. Like my mom is like, she'll say funny things and not realize that they're funny. So then the delivery just kind of seals it. Like, yeah. So I think that'd be funny. Once in a while, she'll say something kind of offensive, though. So I would be a little worried about that. But if she's not doing lives, then I'll just edit it out. Yeah, I wish she would do it, but she's like, no, I just like being retired. I think what I might try though is maybe at some point like going over there and just like doing a video with her, and then maybe I'll just post it on my channel, or maybe if it really takes off, maybe I'll just make her a channel. I might. I think it'd be cool. I do have plans though, or I have for a long time, of doing like a beginner machine embroidery series, because she bought like the little Brother SE, I think it's SE 625. It's the like the entry level. It's the cheapest embroidery machine you can get. It's got a little 4x4 hoop, but you can do a lot with that. I mean, I think it's somewhat affordable. But anyway, my mom she doesn't do well with like reading instructions. I guess like she has trouble processing stuff. So she'll just like not read them, and I'm like, no, Mom, you gotta know what you're doing. So I'll teach you at some point. But then we have COVID and all this other stuff went on. So, but that's still in the works. So I'm gonna film that because I think that'd be really fun to watch. And plus, she's an absolute beginner. So then when I'm teaching her, I'll know that I'm covering everything. I won't like forget to mention something because like I know it, and then I'll forget that not everyone's gonna automatically know this. So yeah, and that's where can you make plushies on a sewing machine? Absolutely, yeah. There's no reason you can't. I mean, if they're really tiny, maybe like it. I've seen these like little tiny ones, or like little sushi balls. It might be easier to hand sew those, but I don't like hand sewing. But yeah, absolutely, you can make them on a sewing machine. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, like beginning embroidery, and then like absolute beginner too. Like I would start with like, okay, Mom, how do you turn on the machine? And I don't know, I think it probably have some really funny banter to it, and then I probably have to um, bleep out some cuss words. Not that I'm offended or anything, but YouTube tends to not like that. I don't want to like limit my audience because, yeah. Hi, Hadar. How you doing? Yeah, but yeah, I think embroidery is so much fun, and there's so many different things you can do with it beyond just like, I think most people just think of like embroidering something on a dish towel or like a hat or a shirt. There's so much more. So that's what I think. A fashion question? I don't know if you want me to answer a fashion question. Like, this is what I wear on a typical day. I got this and some jeggings, but go for it. So anyway, forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, so I think it'd be funny. So I was going to teach her a couple things. She has some designs that that I had her download. There were some freebies and stuff like that. Can you please show us how you tie shirt or sweater around waist, style by sleeves? No, dear, sorry, you got the wrong channel. Yeah, I mean, technically I can tie something, but I mean, that's kind of weird. There are a lot of YouTube channels for that. Sierra Schulte is a good one. She does a lot of like styling kind of stuff. I'd recommend her. I'm not a fashion person at all. That, and I don't have anything to do that with. I don't have a shirt or a sweater out here. So anyway, wow, I'm really losing my train of thought here. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. So she has some like little bird designs and stuff like that. Her name's Sierra Schulte. So she's got like 1 million subscribers. She should be pretty easy to find. But yeah, she really likes bird stuff, and she was thinking like maybe like embroidering some squares of fabric with bird designs, and then eventually making them into a quilt. Which I think it'd be really cool. And then I thought too, maybe I could make a couple too, and we could like kind of collaborate on a quilt. I think it'd be kind of fun. And then maybe I could rope a couple of my kids or nieces into it too to help with it. My sister is not really interested. She knows how to sew and everything, but she's not interested. So maybe I could still like talk her into it. All right, so now I've got all my my page fronts done. So this is really simple. It really is. You just have to measure and cut basically. So I think the next step is adding the zippers. Just let me check really quickly. All right. Oh, hey, Jeanette. How you doing? Hey, Jeanette's here. It's let me see if I can say it right. It's a Boricua Sewing and Crafts. So that's Jeanette. I mentioned her last week. I didn't know about her channel before, and she ordered a riser. My husband has an Etsy shop because years ago, I saw. Oh, good. My husband makes fun of me because he's Puerto Rican, and so he can get like the pronunciations right, and I try, and I suck at it, but I still try. But anyway, so he was making these. I saw an embroidery machine riser several years ago. It was probably like 6 years ago, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And my husband's very supportive, and he likes doing woodworking as a hobby. So he's like, he saw it, and he's like, oh, I can make that so much better. I'm like, all right, cool, go for it. You're on. I still have the first one he made. It's, I think, do I? Oh yeah, it's way over there. I don't have the machine anymore that's made for her, so that's why I don't have it like set up over here or anything. I should have him make me a new one, but he's kind of busy. So anyway, so I made one, and then I had shared it, I think like maybe in a Facebook group or something like that, and people were like, oh, I'll buy one too. So at the time, my husband was he was in college and to be a teacher, and like that is like grueling. Holy cow, like so hard, like just constant, like he couldn't even like work while he was doing it because it was just no time. So so he just like, okay, well maybe I'll open a little Etsy shop part time. So yeah, it was great. Like he still get sales every now and then. He doesn't like promote it or anything like that. It's just like a part time thing because now he's been teaching for several years. But yeah, so he ended up opening his own Etsy shop, and it's been really cool. So I think it's nice, and then so then anytime I have some kind of like need or whatever for something like that could be crafted by him, he'll make it for me. Oh, I'm gonna get my snap pliers. I gotta show you this. It's another thing that he made for me. Oh, and this thing. So, sewing break for show and tell. Oh, Depend Shoe. Hi. Good to join. Good. Glad you could join us. All right. So this is another thing that he made for me. He does not sell these. It's just kind of a one-off, and he's probably not be thrilled that I'm showing it because it's not perfect. But you get the idea. This is like a cam snaps pliers for attaching. Oh, here, I got some right here. That's perfect. These are cam snaps. They have like generic ones on Amazon, but in my opinion, you should support the original. This is a small business, good to support, and they fund a dog rescue with some of their proceeds. But anyway, so these are cam snaps. I think they started out as people would use them for cloth diapers, but now people are using them for everything, especially in the hoop embroidery world. People are using them for all kinds of stuff. So they're like really blowing up now. So to attach them, you need either a pliers or a press. So this is the pliers. I have a press over there too. But for the snaps, I just really like the pliers, but it was hard. Like the squeezing motion, as you can imagine, it causes hand fatigue over time. So I had seen someone in a Facebook group like make something like this. So I showed my husband and I explained what I needed, and he made this for me. It's so sweet. I think it's like a couple pieces of wood and then he just drilled through this to hold it in here. So now it works like a press. So he's great. Oh, Sandy's saying you bought the table press. Never thought about just making a holder or having hubby make one. Yeah, it's great. And I use the press all the time, but I have rivet dies on it, so I just use the press for rivets, and then I use this for snaps. But yeah, the cam press, they make dies for all kinds of stuff, not just snaps. Highly recommend. And then this is the latest thing that he made. This is a zipper jig. We did not come up with this idea by a long shot. Bunch of people online had made these, and it's to put zipper pulls on zipper tape. So this is zipper tape. So instead of buying like pre-made zippers, a lot of people prefer this because there's less waste. Because like say you want to have like a supply of zippers on hand, but you don't know what length you're going to need because you don't know what your project's going to be. You can just buy like a whole like roll. Like I've got some rainbow right here. And this is from Indo Love Creation on Etsy, and creation is spelled with a K. And I think so is this. But you can get zipper tape so many different places. So you use this, and I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. But you use the fork, and then this is just to hold the fork in place, so you have both of your hands to maneuver to put this on. But basically, you get these pulls separately from the zipper tape, and then you can mix and match. Like this one is like a gunmetal shade, and it's got a little skull on it. So I bought this for my daughter because she's having me make the the Elvira coffin backpack from Bent Needle Bags, and I thought, why not have skull zippers on it? But yeah, I'm going to do this off camera. But yeah, you get the idea. So it holds it. Sorry. Sorry, let me put these away. All right, I think I inhaled a dust bunny. All right, so anyway, he makes all kinds of stuff like that. So then my point, which has strayed from me, is Jeanette had bought a riser, and she had mentioned when she was conversing with my husband that she had a YouTube channel and she did embroidery, and then she knew who I was, which is funny because it's like I'm not like a big deal or anything. I have like 8,500 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one, but I'm not like a big deal on YouTube or anything. So it was very, very, very surprising that someone knew who I was. So she knew me from my Beware of Redline videos. And then she mentioned that she was going to do an unboxing and stuff. I'm like, well, shoot, if she's got an embroidery channel, I want to watch it. So we did that, and she unboxed it like live on she does a live video. It's 8 p.m. Eastern every Friday evening. So if you're not subscribed to her, go ahead and do that. If you have the live chat open, you can see it right on the right side of your screen where it says Boricua Sewing and Crafts. Go and subscribe to her channel. And if you turn on notifications, it should remind you when she's going live. So then if you're like me and forget things, then it'll remind you. But yeah, so she did an unboxing on there. It was so cool. I'm like, hey, look at that. So it's really fun. So I subscribed to her channel, and I know another embroiderer. So very cool. I should probably wrap things up because I've been on here for over an hour, and yeah. Does anyone have any questions about anything, or if any of you got a YouTube channel or like a social media, if you want to share, I'll watch, because I guess like if you put like a URL in here, it won't show it at first, but I'm watching, so I can just approve it. Like the chat does some kind of automatic thing where it screens certain things. Like a couple weeks ago when I had the person come on here telling me to go back in the kitchen, it had it flagged that. That was funny. I wish that guy would come back. That'd be fun. Trolls give me life. But yeah, so this is what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. And then also, if you guys haven't subscribed already, I would love it if you would. Yeah. Yeah, trolls are they really are terrible, but sometimes they're entertaining. Cause like I got a bunch of them from my Joanne Fabrics video, like so many. Like if you haven't seen that video yet, just the comments. Well, the thing is, what a lot of these people don't realize, because most trolls are just idiots. Because really, if you have time to just sit around and like post rude comments on people's videos, you probably don't have a lot going on for yourself. So they're probably not the smartest people. So that what they're not realizing is like when they're posting stuff on my video, it's telling YouTube's algorithm that this is a video that they should suggest to other viewers. So they're just helping my video get more views and be seen by more people. So I'm like, thanks, because that video is monetized. So I've made like $200 off of that video since I posted it last June. So my husband's joking. He's like, "Do you have any other controversial opinions about sewing?" I'm like, "I don't know." So, but yeah, so they're helping me out. Yeah, that was great. And then plus, I think it also got rid of a couple like really crummy people, because there were some people who made some like really hateful comments on there, and I'm like, well, if that's how you feel, like you can just go, like really, yeah, like some really like people who were like mad, like because because it was last June where you know we had a lot of racial unrest in the country, and one of the points that I made in that video, among a whole bunch of other things, most of the things that I was talking about were about Joann's customer service, their business model, how they treat their employees, and the quality of their fabric. That I was saying, like, these are all like reasons why I don't think that you should shop there anymore. Obviously, do what you want, but you know, it's an opinion, and everyone's got one. And here's mine. So, but one thing I mentioned was that I felt that they take the Black community for granted at Joann's, because of it, like, you know, that's just been my lived experience, or like observed experience rather. And I just said something like, I feel like they should make a statement. You know, I'm not saying like, you know, they should be shut down because they didn't. I'm just saying, hey, I feel like they should have said something, you know? And they didn't. And there's all these people like, this country was not founded on racism. I'm like, okay, well, sorry, you're wrong. I'm minored in history. I'm certified to teach U.S. history. I've read about history. I know what I'm talking about. I've actually taken the time to like listen to other people's perspectives, you know? So yeah, these people were not like, and most of them, I think someone like must have like signed like or shared my video like in some group of some kind, because it was like a lot of dudes, and I'm like, I look at my analytics, like 90% of my audience is female, but like 50% of the comments were male. So I think there's a lot of them just like, she shouldn't be talking about this stuff. I'm gonna set her straight. I'm like, good luck. Like my mom taught me better. Oh, cotton person, hi. What a funny time to be joining in. You're probably wondering what you walked into or clicked in on. So anyway, but yeah, I'm definitely not afraid of sharing my opinions, because I'd rather have like a small audience of people who are like open-minded and are not offended by someone who has an opinion, and I don't expect everyone to have the same one as mine. Like, just like, don't be a turd about it. That's all I care about. And so yeah, if it's someone who's just like only around here because they want to hear what they want to hear, then I don't really need them anyway. I'm not here to like be like a superstar on YouTube. This is just something that I do for fun, and to connect with people, and to share things that I've learned, and encourage more people to sew and do machine embroidery and just try new things in general. That's why I'm here. And yeah, I will absolutely share my opinions. Like if I have a pattern, and I've mentioned patterns on here before that I've sewn that I did not think were good, I have no problem saying it. I'm not afraid to offend anyone. I'm not going to be rude about it. But you know, if I don't have a good experience with a product or something like that, I'm gonna say something. So, and I welcome other people with different opinions, but you know, just not thrilled about the ones who are like, you're a stupid lib. I'm like, all right, cool, good to meet you. So, all right, yeah, that's how I think. Like, I don't know. That's like one of the things like where I tell my kids, like, you know, like, don't be a dick. Education's important. Contribute positively to society. Those are like our main values in our family. So, you don't have to everyone agree with you, but you also can be decent. So that's what I try to convey to people. And that and sewing is awesome. So yeah, if I think I'm going to end it now because, again, I don't want to drag this on forever, and I'm not good at ending videos in the first place. But so I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to try to make a separate, like a standalone, like not live video to post for tomorrow. I'm not positive I will, but I'm going to try to. But in any case, I'll be on time next week because I don't have a Zoom shower next week. I see if they're picking on me. They are leaving someone else alone. Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah, because I can handle people trolling. I'm fine with it. But yeah, I'm really happy you guys are all joining me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy this so much, and I'll see you all next week. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.